process of organic evolution, which were proposed by various scientists, and we have seen how life, according to them, originated from the simpler forms to the present day complex forms. In this session, we will discuss how the force of selection plays an important role in the process of evolution. Selection is the sum total of various factors which determine the survivability of different variants. So, this is actually the process by which a particular group or a particular character is being selected when compared to the others. Selection can either be natural selection or artificial selection. In natural selection, the forces of nature carries out the process, the selection procedure, where adaptability and survivability are the major reasons in which plants or animals are being selected. In the case of artificial selection, the selection process is carried out by human beings, and they select it for specific characters, for better yield, for better quality of the yield, or for any desirable trait that they require. So this is the difference between natural and artificial selection. In natural selection, the differential reproduction and differential survival rate of organisms is being considered. So it is these agents which determine the selection process. Natural selection determines the change in the gene frequency of a population, which finally leads to a new genetic constitution and can even lead to evolution. So natural selection shifts the population from one form to the other by choosing specific characters in specific individuals. So those individuals which possess that character will be selected. Natural selection is a strong force which acts in organic evolution, which plays an important role in organic evolution, and organisms which can survive better with useful adaptations for surviving in the condition will be more surviving or will have the more probability for success. Favorable genes are selectively chosen for that their frequency increases in the population. So the number of the favorable characters increases in the population because they get more reproduced in more rate, and the number also increases. This process can be termed as positive selection, and it is also termed as directional selection. That means useful traits or favorable traits are being selected for survival. So this is called positive selection, and as it provides a particular character to the population, or it increases the particular character within the population, it can also be termed as directional selection because the population is moving towards a particular direction of the character. And also there can be deleterious or unfavorable mutations or changes which are not selected, or these organisms which possess such characters will not survive and they are eliminated from the population. Such selections are known as negative selection. So there can be both positive and negative selection as far as natural selection process is concerned. That is what we do in the artificial selection also. Here in natural selection also, the forces of nature helps in the survival of the favorable characters and eliminate the unfavorable characters. Natural selection favors those features of the organisms which bring into a more efficient adaptive state with the environment. So the environment is changed. For example, if the temperature is increased, those adaptations which help the organisms to survive in the increased temperature will be favored by the nature. So such organisms which can change themselves to suit the higher temperature will be surviving more, and the others which cannot suit or which cannot adapt to the changed condition, they will slowly perish. Thus the population changes from a normal form to the form which can get adapted to a higher temperature. So that is what we see in the case of natural selection. Those groups of populations or those individuals which can survive in the better condition or in the changed condition will be surviving, and the ones which are not able to survive in the changed condition, they get eliminated. The selection process carried out by nature occurs by means of differential reproduction. That is what we explained just now. The ones with a favorable character will be reproduced more and more offsprings will be produced, and the population of that particular or organisms with that particular character increases. And it is occurring in the other way around also. That is, the ones which are having unfavorable mutations or unfavorable characters are not reproducing more, and as a result their number gets reduced, and finally after a few generations these won't be present in the population at all. So that is what is occurring in the natural selection. The interaction between environment and the phenotype of the organism is very important here, and it is the effects which is brought about this interaction is determining whether the organism should survive or it should be eliminated. Okay, so those which can adapt to the changed environment will survive, and the ones which cannot get adapted will not survive. Natural selection brings about evolutionary change by favoring differential reproduction of genes and gene combinations. The genes which ensure the highest level of adaptiveness or adaptive efficiency will be present or will be favored in the population. Those genes which can efficiently survive in the changed condition will be selected, and the ones which cannot survive or which does not have the efficiency in surviving the changed condition will be eliminated. Natural selection also brings about an improved adaptive relations between organisms and their environment, and the selection function in the presence of reproductive units. It also occurs in the presence of heritable variations. That means the variations should be heritable from one generation to the other, or else it cannot bring about the change. Also, there should be more than two groups within the same environmental conditions. So only in the presence of these three characters, that is the reproductive units, the presence of heritable characters, and the presence of more than two groups, will result in the formation of or in the process of natural selection, where the group which can survive best will be selected. The population which have more opportunities will contribute more number of offsprings to the population, and after a few generations these numbers, the frequency of this gene will be present more in the population. At the same time, those individuals which cannot survive or which do not have the particular characters for survival will produce lesser offsprings, and they gradually decrease in the number. Natural selection favors only those variations which are suited to the changed environmental conditions. Favorable variations accumulate in the gene pool of the population, with the result that the population diverges from the main population. So the group which possesses a changed character will be seen as a separate group from the parental population. The less suited or the harmful variations are lost from the population gene pool by the death of these possessors. That is what we saw just now. That means if an organism is having any unfavorable character or a character which does not suit to the changed environmental condition, such organisms cannot efficiently reproduce and produce larger number of offsprings, and in such conditions they will either produce a few number of offsprings and slowly their number decreases, or the organism itself dies. Thus, this genotype will be lost from the population. Natural selection can be of different types based on the relation between the population and the environment. We will see them in detail. The first one is stabilizing selection. It is also known as normal selection. Natural selection, acting in the absence of large-scale environmental change, is found to be in the form of stabilizing selection. This selection keeps the population in a genetically constant state. So the average phenotypes are selected rather than the extreme forms. The extreme characters are slowly eliminated from the population, and the population slowly moves from the ones with extreme conditions to the normal ones or the average forms. Normally in a population, when we take the values, the average forms will be more when compared to the extreme forms. Too low or too high forms will be seen in lesser numbers. For example, if we take the weight of 10 apples, among them 6 apples will be having an average weight and 2 apples will be having more weight than the others, and other 2 will be having the least weight. This shows that the average character is the more prevalent one in populations. In the case of the stabilizing selections, the average character will be selected more and the extreme characters will be slowly eliminated from the population. The extreme phenotype is thus found to be a disadvantage, as the individuals with over-specialized characters are not always successful. This proceeds in the negative selection of less desirable genotypes, and the stabilizing selection leads to the reduction of the variation. That means the population will not have much variation from each other or from the among the members. More or less the members will be having similar characters. This is commonly explained in the case of the infant birth weight, where we can see that most of the children are born with an average weight. Some of them are born with very high birth weight, and others are born with a very less weight. So in the population, if we clearly observe these small babies, we can see that after some time, or this slowly directs in such a condition that the ones with the extreme weight condition may sometimes be lost from the population, or may sometimes die of some or the other reason. The ones with the average weight will be prevalent in the population when compared to the ones with the extreme weight, that is too high or too low birth weight. This is explained in the graph provided in this slide, where we can see that there is a stabilizing selection on the birth weight of human beings. That is, the average weight, birth weight, children with average birth weight is more when compared to the extreme values of high and very low birth weight. This also relates to the infant mortality rate, where we can see that the extreme weight, that is both low and high extreme weight, will show higher mortality rate when compared to the children with an average birth weight. Second form of natural selection is directional selection. It is also known as progressive selection because it proceeds in a particular direction. This selection gives a regular change in the population at a particular direction, and it helps in the selection of those individuals with characters which adapts to a new ecological conditions. This proceeds when the environmental changes from one form to the other. In the earlier case, we told that the environment is not having much change. In the second case, it proceeds in a condition where the environment changes from one form to the other. This selection is termed to be directional selection, and it is different from the previous selection that it favors extreme characters, but in only one direction. That is, the extreme characters is selected, but in a particular direction only. When the population is plotted in a graph, directive selection adds individuals in one extreme and removes the individuals from the other extreme. So the graph slowly tends to move from one form or one direction to the other, showing that the individuals are added more towards this side. Thus the mean genotype is changed and it shifts from one direction to the other, and we can observe that this value changes for every generation. That means after every generation the mean value will change from one to the other direction, and this selection process occurs during an environmental change or seen after an environmental change. This is clearly seen in the graph which is depicted in this slide. We have seen the example of natural selection of the peppered moth in Europe, and in the example we mentioned about the peppered moth, the grey colored form and also the melanized form. So before industrial revolution took place, the grey colored moth was more when compared to the melanized form, because the branches or the barks were filled with lichens. Slowly, when the barks were filled with soot and smoke, the lichen population decreased, and as a result the bark became darker in color, and the grey colored moth was soon spotted by the predators and their number got decreased. At the same time, the melanized moth got increased because they were not spotted by the predators. So there is a small shift from the grey colored moth or the pale colored moth to the dark colored form by the process of industrial revolution or by the increase of air pollution in the country. So there is an environmental change, that is the environment or the air is getting polluted or soot is increasing, and the lichen population got decreased. As a result, the direction or the population of the melanized moth increased while that grey color or pale colored moth got decreased. So there is a change in the direction of the graph. So in this graph, the blue color shows the original population with more number of the peppered or the pale colored moth, while after the industrial revolution the graph was shown or it is depicted as the red colored graph, where we can see that the population shows more number of dark colored melanized moth. Another example is in the case of Darwin's finches, where the original population had only small beaks, and slowly when the birds could not find their suitable food, they slowly started changing or increasing the size of their beaks. So after a few generations, when the birds were studied or analyzed, the scientists found out that the beak size got increased. So the size of the beak, when we plot it in a graph, it was found to be changed from the smaller size to the larger size. The average size was increasing in subsequent generations. So here also the graph shifts from the smaller size to the larger size, and this is also an example for directional selection. Third example for selection is disruptive selection, where the population breaks into many adaptive forms. In this type of selection, the average genotype is changed and the extreme levels are selected. So more than the average forms, the extreme forms are the best ones for survival, and as a result, these are selected during the process. This is because the extreme genotypes have special characters which will allow better adaptation and survivability than the intermediate forms. This results in the diversification of the population from one form or the average form to different groups. So there will be more variation within the population. This selection induces polymorphism in the population and tends to increase the variance in the group. This is entirely different from the first example, where only the average forms are selected and the extreme forms are eliminated. In this condition, or in the disruptive selection, the average form is eliminated and in turn the extreme forms are selected, and these develop into two different variant groups. All the three selection process is clearly explained in this graph, and the third example what we discussed, that is the disruptive selection or diversifying selection. It is shown by the second graph in the second row, and it shows that from the intermediate form, that is from the average form, it is being selected into two extreme conditions, that is white colored mouse and dark colored mouse. From the intermediate color, it is being selected, or it is being selected into two extreme forms. While in the case of stabilizing selection, we can see that the extreme forms are eliminated and the intermediate color is being selected. So this is the difference between diversifying and stabilizing selection. More examples are seen or shown in this following slides. Here, directional selection. Here, in this slide, we have taken the tail length of various animals as the character, and we have explained the various selection process depending upon the tail size. So, in the first example, we can see that the tail of the lizard is first, or initially it is a small tail, and slowly it moves from the shorter tail to a longer tail, because the long tail looks like a snake and it protects the lizard from the predators. So the longer tail is a positive character, so it is favored, and this character or the organisms with this character is chosen or selected, and the direction is moving from a short tail to a longer tail. So we can see that the graph is the dotted graph is the original population, and the graph with the solid line is the present population. So the original population is shifted from a shorter tail to a form which is having a longer tail. So this is the example for directional selection. The second example shown here is stabilizing selection, where the intermediate form is selected. So here the cat's tail is taken as an example. Cats were found to show long tail, short tail and intermediate tail length, and in the selection process, short tail was found to show various balance problems to the cat while it runs, and thus the character was not chosen, and the long tail was dragging on the ground, and the cat was finding it very difficult to carry the tail with it. So as a result, the intermediate character, that is an intermediate length in the tail, is selected, and here the selection process is stabilizing selection, where the intermediate form is chosen. Rather, the extreme forms, that is the longer and shorter tails, are eliminated from the whole population after a few generations. The third example shown here is disruptive selection, where the original population was found to show more number of individuals in the intermediate condition, and after subsequent generation, the extreme characters were found to be showing more numbers. This example explains the disruptive selection based on the tail length of squirrel, where short tails help the organism to escape from the predators, because long tails will make them consumed by the predators, while the more longer tail helps in good balance, so that they can balance their body and move very fast. So due to this both characters, the ones with the longer and the shorter tails were selected when compared to the ones with intermediate tails, which was not a desirable character as this population was concerned. So the three examples shows us the various selection process. Next is another set of graphs which explains the three process. Stabilizing selection is explained with the example of robins and their eggs. Robins typically lay 4 eggs. That is an example for stabilizing selection, because more number of eggs will be producing malnourished individuals or birds, while small number of eggs will result in loss of all the offsprings. So the clutch size of each breeding season is found to be 4 in number, which is an ideal number as far as this population is concerned. The second example is what we explained in directional selection, that is the example of the peppered moth, where the ones with the darker character is selected after the Industrial Revolution because they are hidden or they hide themselves from the predators than the white colored moth. The third example shows the diversifying selection. That means here the hypothetical population, grey and Himalayan rabbits are better able to blend with the rocky environment rather than the white forms, which are the intermediate forms. The white forms are easily spotted in the environmental conditions where more rocks are present, and as a result they are taken up by the predators. In this condition, the extreme forms, that is the dark forms and also the Himalayan forms, are chosen by the nature in the disruptive selection, where both these characters or both these populations were showing better adaptation or better hiding properties when compared to the white colored rabbit. These are the various examples for the types of selection and the role of selection in producing evolutionary characters. So we can say that natural selection plays an important role in choosing the particular individuals for survival. Here we have to consider one thing, that is the whole population is selected, or the natural selection proceeds into the whole population than single individual organisms. And also natural selection will choose those organisms which better adapt and survive better in a changed environmental condition. And based on all these factors, there are three types of selection process: natural selection process, that is stabilizing selection, disruptive selection, and directional selection. Hope you have understood this session. Thank you.